Alright, welcome YouTube. I am going to show a video today, a tutorial on this game. Let me just play it. Oh, suspense. Okay, so we just have a grid of buttons up here. Actually, they might be labels. And there's a finish line over here. This is my computer I'm going against, who's spinning his shield around. And I simply click these labels. They disappear if there is more than two together. And the more that are together, the fastest my player will go. When I level up, I simply start back at the start line and I continue on. And that is it. And the computer, the AI, gets a little bit faster each level. Alright?
Why did you push her?
Okay. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is create the grid. So I'm going to go ahead and code that. On my grid, I actually had a 11 by 7 grid. You can't see it on the form unless I'm playing, but let me take a look again. So here it is. These are all labels. And on the outside of the label, there's actually a row of black labels. And I need that just for the algorithm I used when they go to clear themselves. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to change those ones to white just so you can have a look at what I mean. So there's a white row around the side just so that when I'm clearing them off, oh, now I'm going to run an error because it looks for black stuff here. Alright. So let me change that back. Where was that now? Change this back to white. Alright, let's get started here. So, we'll go F7. We'll get to our code. We'll zoom in. Now, when we are making our grid, we got to declare some variables. I like to put it in a region. I'm going to call that grid region. Whoa, what happened to region? Grid stuff. And now we'll declare the variable that's going to hold the region, the grid. It's going to be an array of labels, and we will make it 11 by 7. It's a two-dimensional array, which is why there's the two numbers as label. And now we'll make the sub. Whenever we're naming subs, they should start with a verb because they're doing something. So naming conventions are important. So it is sub create grid. And here we go. So first thing I want to do is a double for loop, because two dimensions, anytime you're dealing with two-dimensional array, you should have two for loops. Okay, so the x, think of the grid as x and y. So x is going to go from 0 to 10, and for y is going to go from 0 to 6. And there it is, those two things. And now again, this number here matches this one, and this number here matches this one. So now I'm going to ask for my new label. So grid at index x comma y equals new label. Now I'll give it properties. Whenever I'm giving properties to an object or a control, I should use a with statement just so I don't have to repeat it all the time. So what properties do I want to give it? I want to go dot width of 30, dot height, of 30 as well, dot top will be okay, this first number is how far you want it from the top, so I'm going to go like 20 pixels down, plus, and the top is going to be controlled by what? Think of your x and y grid, so that'll be the y variable. So y times, and now how far apart is the grid? Well, it's 30 pixels high, so it needs to be 30 away from each other. Okay. Dot left, same deal. I don't want to get into the math too much here. It's a whole nother lesson as to how this magic formula works, but if you take my word for it, essentially this is how far away from the top, this is how far away from the left. These numbers are changing in the loop, so they start at 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and times by 30, so it's just going to increase it 30 pixels over. Next, I'm going to give it a back color. I'm going to change it later, but just to show you what it looks like. So let's give it a dot back color of white. And now, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that for now. And we'll give it controls. Who gives it controls? It's the form. How do you reference the form? It's the word me. Me.controls. Dot, and what do you want to do? You want to add them, and then in brackets the object that you're adding them to. So we're adding them to the grid at index xy, comma twice, and I think that might be it. So let me just zoom out here. In the form load, we should form events load. Let's put in what did I hit? Trying to connect to the internet. That's great. Let's try this again. Form events load. One day I'll get this right. So load is over here, and in here I'm just going to type in the word create grid. Let's play it and see what it looks like. Alright, so there's our white boxes. Now just to illustrate how this top and left works, let's say I times it by 31. What do you think that's going to do? Well, I'll tell you what it's going to do. It's going to put a little space in between each picture box. So now you can see their distance apart from each other. If you wanted the space to be huge, you could change this to like 40, and it'll be 10 pixels apart because it'll be the difference between this number and this number. Alright, let's take a look at that if you want to run that and see what it looks like. See, now they're all separated. Pretty fancy stuff. Okay, so let's put that back before I forget to 30. And so now I think I might be zoomed in. Okay, are we good? Okay, to do the colors, we need to have an array of colors, and then we're randomly going to pick a number in that array and randomly assign the color to the label. So we need first a random generator, so I just call it R as new random. Then we're going to go dim colors as colors is going to be an array. How big is the array? Let's go with 5 different colors as an array of color. Notice those are reserved words. Now let's sub, and this is what? Create color array. So what are we going to do in here? Literally, we're just going to have an array of, we're just going to have an array of colors. So we're going to say colors at index 0 equals red. Colors at index 1 is going to be equal to blue. Colors at index 2 is going to be yellow. Colors at 3 is going to be equal to red, blue, yellow, green, maybe. How many do I have? Last one. Colors at index 4 equals red, blue, yellow, green, maybe brown or purple. Yeah, purple. Alright, let's minimize that and we'll actually create those colors. So let me zoom out. This was, what did I call that array? Create color array. Okay, and now we can go back to here. So colors, we got the height, the top of this. So now we don't want to go back color dot white. We want this to be randomized. So we're going to have a select case, and we're going to get a random number. No, we're not going to get a random number. Change that. We are simply going to say, this is brilliant, dot back color is equal to color. What's the name of our array? Colors at index. Now we want to put a random number here between 0 and like 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. So we're going to say r.next. This is how we get our random numbers. I'm not going to go into too much depth there. But the 0 is in the inclusive lower boundary and the exclusive upper boundary. So again, just to reiterate, this is a function call to a sub, not a sub, a function that's going to generate a random number. We pass it these two parameters, 0 and 5 are arguments, and that the 0 is the lower boundary, 5 is the upper boundary, that's exclusive, and this is going to return to us a number, either 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, and based on what is returned, it's going to be one of these colors, 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, and once that color is randomized, it's going to go in the back color of our grid. Alright, next let's give our labels a border style just so it kind of looks a little bit better. I think we'll go fixed 3D, and let's see what that looks like. I'll zoom out here, let's play it. Oh man, see, I don't have this computer hooked up to the internet, just my way of having no distractions. This computer is really old. I'm running XP. Hey look, there's our colors. They don't do anything though, but sure looks nice, hey? Yeah, excellent. Next thing we need to do is put that row of black picture boxes along the outside. So let me think of that for a second here. So right in here, I'm going to say if x is equal to 0 or y is equal to 0 or x is equal to, now what's the maximum for x? 10, or y is equal to 6. These are all our boundaries. So those are rows of boundaries. So if that's the case, if any of those are true, we want to say dot back color is equal to black. Alright, and again I explained that a little bit earlier on the algorithm I use for clearing of the colors. It's whenever I get to the edge, it operates just a little bit different. So now I'm going to throw this into the else section. Okay, so essentially if it's an edge, it goes black. If it's not an edge, so if that's false, it gives it a random color. Okay, so we give it the border style. So I'm just going to back that up to clean it up. And I think that might be it for our with statement. We give it controls, and I think that might be good here. What I want to do is we have to give it a handler too, a click handler. So I'm just going to type that in so that we can type that part up. So this is going to be private sub label click handler is what it is. It is, so what are we going to call it? Label. Now let's call it grid. Grid click handler. Put our two brackets in here. Now I can never remember all this stuff by heart, so I'm just going to copy and paste it. We need the same arguments as any of these subs that are built in. So I'm going to paste that in there. And now I want to go after here, press enter, and there's our, should give us the end sub. That's all I'm going to do for now. But now let's go back to our create grid, and once we give it controls, let's give it the handler. So we want to say, oh man, add handler. Who are we giving the handler to? So we need to know the object. The object is grid at index xy, and then what event. The event is like going to be the click event here, comma, address of, and what's the name of the handler. So what's the name of the sub that handles this? And so that's one we just made. It's called grid click handler. I think that's it. Is that going to give me an error? No, it's not. Okay. The other thing, I almost forgot. I want to change the cursor when the user is pressing our game. So I've got nothing for the black, but if they're in the game, so if they're color, we're going to give it a dot cursor. And let's go. You could pick one here, but what's a good one? Default hand split I-beam. No. I never looked at all these. Size all, size all. Let's go, excuse me, arrow. Let's go hand. Let's try that. Okay. Give it the hand. Okay. Let's run it and see what it looks like. So, and there's my internet that doesn't work. No distractions when I'm on this computer. See? Okay, so now notice when I'm in the game my cursor changes. Okay, and we got this black like I'd mentioned before, so everything's coming along nicely, right? Okay, so what do I want to do next? Let me think for a minute here. I could minimize this. And we could probably do our handler. Create color away, create grid. That's looking nice. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll up. We can minimize this bad boy. Okay, so next we got to do the handler. Okay, so we're going to do the handler, like I said. What do I want to do? I want to zoom in. Sure I do. Okay, so here's essentially when the user clicks the label, they are going to sorry, this is the algorithm. So they click it. This label right here is then tagged as being hit, and then I comb through the entire grid looking for, like, it goes through one at a time and it starts with this guy. If this guy is touching a label that is hit and is the same color as itself, then it disappears and it just works its way across all the way through. So again, thinking if I'm touching, so if I click this guy, then these three would disappear because it's touching a tagged label and it's the same color. Okay? So I'm literally going to say sender. That's how I reference the one that clicks it, right? Because remember, I'm in the handler, so this handler is essentially going to be the click event for every single label. And now how do I reference the label that I'm in? I reference it by using the word sender. So sender dot tag equals, and then we'll call it hit. So you are hit. And next we're going to have a sub that's going to do all the work of clearing the hit labels. So it's going to be a series of 5 subs. So I'm going to create a region for that, and I'm going to call it clearing labels from the grid. Now the first one is going to kind of control it all. Sub, and this is going to be check for hit labels. Okay, now I'm going to leave that one. And now I'm going to do a sub for each direction. So I'm going to go sub, check above, check below, sub, check below, sub, check right, right, and sub, check left. Alright, I got that? I do. Now, I'm just going to minimize these for now, because I'm not going to code them yet. Oh, but I need parameters. Shoot, sorry folks. I need to give it parameters for each one. And I put the parameters in here, or arguments, I can't remember. which one is which. So we're going to give it x, comma, by reference, y. Oh, these are integers. I got to reference them as such, as integers. And by reference y as integer. And again, just to tell you what these things do, is when you call this sub and you put something in brackets, you're going to put two integers, and this sub is going to take those integers and refer to them as x and y. So now when I reference x and y inside this sub, it's referring to what was given to it by the person who's calling it. So let's go back to check hit labels. Oh, sorry guys, I wasn't zoomed in. And now in here, checked hit labels. Again, we're going to have to give it by reference. And the word by reference means in memory, it's not moving it's not copying and paste. It's not creating two variables. It's just referencing the variable. So if you're dealing with really big numbers, it makes more sense to do it as a reference. Hope I got that right. Integer. Okay. So I want to give that one x and y. And then, whoops, we need this for each one. Okay. So I'm going to copy this. Come on, man. Oh, jeepers. Let's try this again. Shift, Control C. I'm going to paste that in each of these. And again, you can use the exact same variable names because it's a local variable within that sub, so it's not going to interfere with each other. So check for hit labels. All we're going to do is we're going to say now let's go back to the grid click handler. So once it's tagged it as hit, it is then going to call, I'm going to comb through the entire grid. So I need two for loops. For x equals, man, what was the number? I think it was 10. It's going to peek up here. X is 10, y is 6. Okay, so for x equals 10 to, x equals 0 to 10. For y equals 0 to, I forgot already. So absent-minded, 0, 6, looks good. Enter. Now we're going to say, check for hits labels, and we're going to give it x and y. Okay, so this is literally, this for loop is going to comb through the entire grid, going x and y, and passing it to check for hit labels. Check for hit labels is going to check above, check above x comma y, check below x comma y, check right, x comma y, check left, x comma y. Okay, give me a second. Alright, I'm back. I know that was a quick second to me, but to you guys it was instant. I made a little mistake here. This for loop I want inside over here. Okay? So inside check for labels, I want to go for x equals 0 to 10, for y equals 0 to 6, and check above, check below, check right, check above. Oops. It's going to go inside that for loop, and we don't need it up here. And all we need to do here is say check for labels. We don't even need to pass it something, because check for labels is the driving engine. It's just going to do everything here. Okay, check above, check below. And now the other thing I want to do is I don't want to call these subs if I'm on the edge. Okay, so I'm going to say if grid at index xy dot back color is not black, because remember black was the edge. So if it's not black, I want to call all these subs. If it is black, I want to skip it. Okay. So now let's go and do each one. Check above. So we are going to check if the grid above, if the label above the called label is tagged and the same color. If that is true, then we are going to tag it. Okay? So we're going to say if grid at check above. So now if we think of our x's and y's, this is going to be one above it. So that's going to be on the y-axis, and it's going to be -1. Just to explain one more time here, I'm going to run the game, and we're going to play it. And okay, so remember this is x, check that, this is x, this is y. So technically this is spot 0, 0, this is spot 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. This would be what? This would be 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. So I'm going to check above this one, so I'm going to say grid at y -1. If it's tagged in the same color as me, then I'm going to tag me. Okay? So let's go back to our code. Let's zoom in. Now, if grid at spot x comma y -1 dot back color is the same as grid at x comma y. Okay, so that's one check, and we also want to check if it's tagged. So and grid at spot x comma y -1 again dot tag equals hit. If those are both true, okay, what then I look here? Oh, dot back color. Dot back color. Alright, both these conditions are true. If the one above it is the same color as it, and the one above it is hit, then we want to tag it. We want to tag ourselves. So we want to tag x comma y dot tag equals hit. Okay. Now we want to copy that. Control copy. And we want to check below. Check below is going to be y +1. And +1 over here. And let's check right. Now check right is going to be +1 for x, I think. And then this one's going to be just y. This x is going to be +1. And then this y is going to be, whoops. It's going to be, whoops. Not there, Bowden. Come on, man. Okay, so x, whoa, sorry about that if you guys heard that. Whoa, sorry about that if you guys heard that. Plug that in, please. My daughter just tripped over my power cord. Yeah, plug it in so we don't lose batteries. Alright, and we're back. Okay, so x +1, y, x, y. Okay, this is x +1. +1, and then this is just y. And if that one equals hit, okay, we're good. Then we tag it as hit. And let's copy this if statement. Control copy. Control paste. And I'm going to zoom down. And this is now x minus 1. X minus 1. And then over here. Whoops, what did I do? Come on, man. It's getting late. X minus 1, X minus 1. Okay, so then we tag that as hit. Okay, I think we got the tagging all done. Alright, think one more time. So we go through. If it's not black, don't do it. Okay, so we literally work our way through the entire grid from the top left to the bottom right, and we skip the black ones and check above, below, right, and left is going to tag them as hit. So guess what? Once we tag this as hit, we check for the labels. Now we just got to clear all the hit labels. Next step. Okay, so we hit it. We check for hit labels. Hit labels is going to comb the grid from top left to bottom right. It's going to go and look all these. It's going to tag everything hit. So now we got to look. If we see anything that's hit for right now, I'm just going to have that box disappear. Okay. So again, we're going to comb the entire array. So from x 0 to 10 for y 0 to what? 6. And we'll say if grid at index xy dot tag equals hit. If that's true, let's just turn it black. So we'll just go grid. No, black's not a good one. Let's just go white. X comma y dot back color equals white. Okay. Oh, didn't like white. What happened here? Back color equals white. I think that might be it. Let's try playing this bad boy. So play it. I got any errors? No errors. That's always a good sign. Oh, okay. So white. And now what you'll notice is it'll only go one or two colors, and all we need to do is once we've combed it through once and looked for tagged stuff, once we check for hit labels and we look for tagged, essentially if the colors are really stacked together, like 5 or 6 strong, this combing isn't going to pick it up, because it's only going to pick up one beside one to the left, one to the right. So guess what we're going to do? We're just going to do this 3 times, man. We're just going to say check for hit labels, and I think 3 times will do it. And that should be the algorithm to run it to make sure. So now, so all of them turn. Here, this purple will be a good one. Yeah, they all turn. And so that is that. Okay, that's I'm sure you're pretty excited. I am. Alright, so I'm going to end this tutorial now. The next step we're going to do is the animation to make them shrink and to come up with a new color. Alright, so long for now, and hopefully I don't take too long to get the other one up, because I know you guys will be waiting for it eagerly. Alright, it's going to minimize everything. Let's collapse our region, clearing and checking for the grid. This handler we're going to change. So this for loop we're going to keep for now, but later on we're going to let the time. We're going to put this in a timer and let the timer do the work, which is going to give the animation look to it. All right, let's minimize this. And okay, that's all for now. So long. Don't forget to save. Now, how do I zoom?